Alright boys, so today we are gonna do a trading recap. So last week I ended up not doing, or last week I ended up not giving you guys a trade recap, so I'm just gonna do a quick run through of what I was looking at. So this was the trading recap that we had. It was a really bad trade, I'd say, because we got stopped out like fast, and when I say fast, it was like a legit 1 minute or a couple minutes until we got stopped out. Because look at this candle right over here. We entered, and then this candle just went ballistic. But anyways, so let me see what we had. So we had PMI on this day, and then for my notes, I said we had no 1 hour confirmation, but we did have a reaction off a liquidity sweep. So ideally, we had a breaker structure on the 1 minute to the upside. So I guess in my opinion, I like to have trades with, the breaker structure, in my direction. So if I'm taking a short, I would like the hourly breaker structure to have the downside. Or if it's a bullish, or if I'm looking to take longs, then I want the breaker structure to the upside. All right, so in this case, we had a breaker structure to the upside, and I took shorts. So that kind of didn't play out as I wanted to, and I guess this was just an unlucky day because we did end up sweeping high time frame liquidity right over here, and then I was also going to be targeting these lows, but I guess during pre-market we did end up sweeping these lows right over here and kind of um yeah, just swept some lows. I mean, this is a an inverse fair value gap, but I didn't really think about that. So on top of that, we didn't really have like that many. We did have an hourly and a 4 hour fair value gap here, but I guess like the breaker structure, I should have had it, um, or I should have, yeah, waited until it broke structures to the downside at least. But I guess we didn't get that. But I entered off this because we had a 5 minute breaker structure to the downside, and then on top of that, we had a little retracement here, and then I waited for a 1 minute breaker structure, which we get right over here. Holy shit, I'm saying breaker structure so many times. But after this BOS, I entered right here and had my stops at this high. And like you can see, we got stopped out really quickly. So that was the trade from last week. Moving on to the current week, we took two trades. Ended up winning what 0.4%, which is I mean, I'll take it rather than a loss, but honestly, I don't think we should have lost, that much. We definitely should have lost 1%, but I accidentally over risked like a lot, so that was on my end. But we had PMI. I don't think we actually did. We have PMI? I think we had PMI. Anyways, we had multiple liquidity sweeps, but the price ended up playing bullish, or yeah, to the bullish side. So I ended up only having two screenshots. I don't know why, but let's just go through this, I guess. So this is the 1 minute. Let's go on the 5 minute. All right. So looking at this, you could see that this was pre-market. 6:30 was the opening, and you could see price just comes down, and this was liquid at a liquidity level, and then it ended up sweeping it. So then it continues upwards. You could see, and when market opened, I was ideally looking for a long right over here to target this liquidity level, but we never end up getting it. So I was kind of, just waiting or being patient to see if we were getting any other setups. On top of that, we had a breaker structure on the hourly to the downside, so I was looking for shorts. So once we swept this high time frame liquidity, which was the hourly, I was just waiting for some reactions to the downside, which we get. So we get a reaction to the downside with this 5 minute breaker structure right over here, and then after that, I'm just scaling down to the 1 minute to see if we can get a 1 minute breaker structure. And you can see we have a little retracement here, which I usually like, and we tap into EQ. On top of that, we have a fair value gap. So in my opinion, this trade wouldn't have been that bad, honestly. I wasn't expecting it to be like bad at all. I think this was like a decent setup. Um, So we enter off this breaker structure right over here, and then 5 minutes later we get stopped out. Um, I think just because of how the market was playing like recently is because the election and just overall how the market is reacting, it's more reacting to the bullish side. So in my opinion, longs and just longs are playing out really well right now. So I shouldn't really be looking for some shorts, and I think that's maybe the problem on why I've been, losing these couple of trades. But overall, it's not been that bad. I kind of understand why I'm losing. On top of that, we had, I believe this was a 4 hour liquidity sweep. Um, so I guess this outplayed, or this was the the upper hand liquidity sweep that we had on the high time frame. So this is something that just overpowered our bias. Moving on to the trade that we ended up winning though was, I don't know why this was PMI. Okay, I should have changed it to right over here. I made a mistake, but I'm gonna just change it right over here. Um, okay, so we ended up winning 2.2% on Friday. Instead of Notion, I'm gonna just show you guys on TradingView because that's easier. But overall today was pretty simple. Um, Let me just go on the full screen. All right, so just looking at market. Uh, all right, so this was what market was looking at. Ideally, I was looking at S&P, but because we get a liquidity sweep on the hourly right over here. If I go on the hourly, we get a liquidity sweep, and we create an SMT like I said. But I was just waiting for whatever was giving me an entry first, which was Nasdaq, and you can see Nasdaq broke structure to the upside, and then on the 1 minute, I was looking for a little retracement, which we get right over here, and yeah, right over here. So Um, I could have drew equilibrium like right over here, I guess. But no. Like yeah, right over here, I guess. But I don't really count this as a like a valid equilibrium, so there's no point in that. But honestly, my bias today was bullish because just looking at market, like I said, and on top of that, I don't know why I just been entering off just breakout structures because that's really what I need as for my past trades. Just break a structure to the upside, and then yeah, once we broke structure we did end up coming down a bit, and we were at like maybe the 60% mark of was getting stopped out, but then we managed to continue upwards, and then we broke structure again to the upside. And then as for S&P, this would have been my entry right over here, because this previous high right over here didn't break structure, you could see, and this is where I entered off Nasdaq. So right after this secondary break of structure, which was on the Nasdaq, it continued upwards and tapped into this high time frame liquidity. So yeah, I was also targeting this liquidity level because I just knew that um, after the sweep, I just knew that we were going to continue upwards. So it was pretty obvious today. Maybe I was lucky, or maybe I wasn't. But in my opinion, my bias was definitely bullish today. So other than that, I did not end up taking a 5.21 RR. It was ended up being like I think 2.2. Yeah, right around here. Once I saw some kind of like bearishness, I exited. But yeah, this was a decent trade. I could have held it, but I don't have big balls, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, we ended up putting our stops at this low because this was the previous low. Because if it was invalidated, then we'd probably go lower. But other than that, I guess it was a simple trade, and it was a really quick one too. It only took like what, 20 minutes or less than that, maybe like 10 minutes. Yeah, straight up 10 minutes for this trade. So yeah, but like I said, my bias was overall bullish, and it was just because of the SMT and the high time frame liquidity sweep that we got on um, S&P. But on Nasdaq, we didn't really get a liquidity sweep, which I was okay with because just the SMT on the high time frame was enough for me. And we were really close to the high time frame liquidity level at this high right over here. So that was enough for me. And yeah, that was pretty much the confluence I used to trade. All right, but yeah. So overall within the week, if we look at our journal, we are up 0.4. And like I said earlier, it's not much, but it's better than having a loss. And it is the first, week of the month, and this week we've actually had a lot of news. So I know I wasn't expecting us to, make amazing trades this week, but hopefully next week it's gonna be different. But we'll see. Because we don't actually have like a lot of news next week. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we will definitely see. But hopefully it'll play in our favor. But thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.